Hey everybody, welcome to Old Roommates. Today on the show, we revisit the 1976 version of Freaky Friday, starring Jodie Foster and Barbara Harris. So, call the drapes guy, call the carpet cleaners, call your housekeeper. The show is about to begin.
Hey everyone, welcome to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. This is Christina.
And this is Brian.
And we are revisiting Freaky Friday. Oh my gosh, blast from the past.
Really?
Brian, What were you doing in 1976?
Yeah.
What were you doing in 1976?
December.
Were you doing alive? When were you born?
I was 4.
You were 4.
But I'm telling you, I remember this movie. I remember watching it as a little kid. Similar to Escape to Witch Mountain, which we've talked about on this. We've reviewed that on this podcast. December 17th, 1976. But Freaky Friday, I used to love this movie. I used to watch it consistently. I don't quite know how I was doing that.
I think it was on like all the time.
Or Disney, The Wonderful World of Disney.
I think it was on The Wonderful World of Disney, and I think
Disney
it was on
Channel.
like Channel 38 and Channel 56, like all the time.
Yeah.
I feel like it was always on. I agree with you.
I appreciate agreeing with me. I don't know how I've seen it so many times, but I did. But I will tell you for sure, I have not seen it in over 40 years.
Same. Same.
But I remembered a lot of it, and but I just loved it, and I love just the concept, just the idea of like switching bodies, and but I remembered so much about this. But how about you?
I am very similar. I watched it all the time as a child on The Wonderful World of Disney. I think they probably had like 4 movies that they just played over and over again, right? And I also really loved the movie. And I think what was so fun about it was a concept that we hadn't heard before. Like now, like I feel like every other year there's a movie
Done
about
to death.
Yeah, it's like switched bodies or switched situations or something. Switching with a dog, or there's all kinds of things that happen now. But this was the first time you'd ever see something like that.
Yeah.
And it was so cool, like the mom and the daughter, and they were, I feel like she's probably a little older than I was.
I think she's 13.
She is supposed to be 13, yes, because I watched some of it with Emily.
Okay.
And Emily's 13. She's going to be 14 at the end of the month. And I have an interesting perspective from her. Yeah, I think she was a little bit older than me. But still, it was like super fun.
Yes.
Like you could just imagine, like you can't help but imagine your world like that, right?
It's
like,
all.
What would I do if I switched places with mom?
Totally, but also I think as a kid, it's like this is almost pure slapstick.
Oh,
like
yes.
Every single scene is like something goes bonkers, and I think little kids love that stuff.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Just even like the sound effects alone,
yes.
right? Like the music and the sound effects and it's just super fun. Fun.
Yes.
And so when did you watch this?
So it was actually a couple weeks ago. I rewatched it on Disney Plus. It's on there.
Yes, I watched it from there as well.
As is the, I think, Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan version.
Yeah. Is there 3 versions? I feel like I saw a 3rd version too.
Oh, God, I don't even know. Probably.
Maybe.
But, so I will say I could not believe how fast that transition happened.
Oh my gosh.
Like, it's like, here's one scene. Bye, Mom. Oh, dear, what about breakfast? No, bye. Okay. Oh, hey, what? Oh, I wish we could switch places. Bing. Was it like minute 8?
It was
it happens
quick.
really fast. And it's just like the screen flashes like 3 times.
Yes.
And because they both said it at the same time. That's how that happens.
Yes, I forgot how that happened. I forgot it was because there's so many different versions of it now, right? So it's like, was it a magic wand or like?
But I have to say, before that even, I guess, is that before that happens? It is before, because we see Annabelle, played by Jodie Foster, on water skis. Or is it Jodie Foster and not a 52-year-old woman? Because that is a consistent note I have on through my middle-aged lens. The stunt people are atrocious.
Yes, they
look
didn't even try.
Nothing like the actresses playing them.
They didn't even try.
Nothing. There's a scene where Jodie Foster's character is driving a car. The person is at least 6 feet tall. I mean, it is like, it's that laughably bad with the stunt work. But just early on, my first take was like, really nice acting. I thought Barbara Harris, who I love from Peggy Sue Got Married, I didn't really, like, as a kid, I didn't really, like, identify the mom at all. But I thought there was, like, some really nice acting moments, and I kind of felt their frustration. I was excited to see Barbara Harris being so goofy, and that was something that was really refreshing about that, and I think Jodie Foster was great. But those were my initial feelings with the first scenes of this movie. How about you?
Very similar. I wasn't sure what to expect. So I think part of the challenge of revisiting a movie that it was made in the 70s is, the more I revisit them, the more I realize that movie making has changed, in that a kid's movie back then was made for kids. So I think less thought was put into things like the stunt doubles and things like that, because they figure, it's just kids that'll be watching it.
Right.
Whereas now, I think they pay much more attention to that stuff, regardless of whether it's for a child or an adult. In fact, I think they write a lot more for adults in a child's movie or show. So I think that's one of the things that kind of hopped out at me right away. I was like, oh yeah, they're writing for kids. They're filming this for kids. They don't think an adult is going to watch this. Because, I mean, let's face it, we probably didn't back then, right? I mean, adults,
no, I would
never. They just plop the kid right in front of the TV, and then, the mom is off, doing dishes or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's something that popped right out to me. But I agree with the acting. I wasn't surprised that Jodie Foster's acting was good, because I always liked her. She had already been in Bad News Bears, right? This is after Bad News Bears or before?
Isn't that Tatum O'Neal?
Oh my God, you're right.
Christina.
I'm just gonna retire now.
Wow.
You're right.
Wow.
Sorry. Anyways, so I'm just gonna scratch that from the record. Don't. But I hadn't really seen much from Barbara Harris, right? I hadn't really seen much from her, so I was actually really pleased to see, like, her acting.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I enjoyed her more than I even enjoyed Jodie Foster.
Same.
So that was my initial thoughts. And I have some revising.
Oh.
That I would tweak a little bit, but yeah, all in all, very enjoyable.
Yeah.
I laughed at a lot of the dialogue just because it's so dated and sexist.
That's a big negative for me, to be honest. Like, that has not aged well at all, to the point where a big negative I have about this movie is the chauvinism is, like, alluded to, but it really goes unchecked. And, like, even at the end, I know this is 1976. This is 40, well, how old am I? What did I say? 46 years ago, right? Yeah. So it's like, oh my God. Like, the dad is such a dick. Like, I mean, like, and it's worse than Bewitched.
Well, he is, but I don't think back then we thought he
wasn't considered a bad guy.
Right, he wasn't written to be a bad guy. He was written to be a doting husband and a loving father. But looking at it now, you're like, wow.
Yeah, because it rings so differently now, because so you're, as a viewer watching this movie in 2022, you're watching this and the father is truly saying to the mother, hun, I'm just going to bring 7 people over for dinner. And you're like, and I think back then you're gasping because she's like the daughter in the mother's body. But now I'm gasping because I'm like, wait, excuse me?
Like, you're doing
7
what?
people. You want her to make dinner for 8? Yeah. Like, in 3 hours, you dick?
I know.
Like, so
I know.
It rings like so much heavier, but for the wrong reasons. Right. And it's not the fault of the movie.
No, it's the fault of the 70s.
But there is a point, though, where there's a point, though, where I think Jodie Foster's character, there is a line where someone says, male chauvinist pig.
Yes.
And I kept waiting.
Several times.
I kept waiting for that dad or someone to get that, like, that moment of, like, criticism. like, hey, because especially at the end, I'm like, oh, well, here it comes. They're gonna call the dad out, that the dad made everything so much worse from his assumptions of what women should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And the mother had enough on her plate, and the father made it worse. I would criticize the mom in the sense of, why does she plan all of these appointments in the same day? That's another point. But that was really disappointing, I think, through a middle-aged lens, that the person that was causing a lot of these problems never was confronted.
No, and the only realization, and it wasn't even a major one, was that, like, the Jodie Foster character is saying, you know, oh, you have it rough. Like, you know, you're expected to do a lot of things. Like, that even wasn't, it wasn't really fully realized. And, like, I think it was, like, maybe mentioned a little bit in passing, but not even to each other, I don't think. No. I think it was to somebody else. But, yeah, it was, it's shocking in the sexism.
Well, and even when they change back, it's like 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, wow, you do have it rough. But there's no, like, you have it rough and it's wrong. It's just like,
right.
Well, your life is tough. Like, it is not like, it's not that it's, like, unfair. And I think that's the difference. Like, nowadays it's like, oh, man, they'd probably team up and go against the dad and, like, teach him some lessons.
That would be great, right? Wouldn't that be perfect?
I mean, it's just so, it's odd. I will say, I laughed out loud, and I thought this was a great line reading from Jodie Foster, where she's sitting at the ice cream parlor with her friend, and she realizes that she's the mother, and she's like, young lady, a great deal has transpired since earlier today. Mm-hmm. And I just, the way she said it was funny, the friend's reaction I thought was really good. That's a lot of the younger acting was great.
Charlene Tilton.
Bambi.
Yep, funny, right? I agree. I thought she was good. One of the tweaks I would have done, I mean, at first, I get it. Like, she's newly in this body, and she's speaking the way that she would. Mm-hmm. But as she went through the day, it would have been funny, or even more of a lesson for her, if she had started talking like she thinks kids talk.
Yeah.
And maybe act a lot younger than what the kids actually act as.
Yeah.
Because she's so out of touch as to what, you know, these kids do or whatever. I think that would have been cute to see that. It seemed odd to me that she would never tell her friends. Like, she kind of tried to tell her friends, but she didn't do it, like, well enough for them to even understand. But to say, no, look, this isn't me. This is, you know, whatever.
I'm my mom.
I think that would have been a little bit more effective.
Although I was surprised that she did say to the kid, like, listen, I'm my mother. And she's like, oh, I'm my mother too. Good game. That's a great game. Actually. That was pretty funny. I feel like that's something kids would probably do.
I think so too. So I'm watching this and I'm seeing, like, this group of kids, and they're all supposed to be 13. And I had said before, like, I was watching this with Emily, who's 13. And I was curious. I asked her, I'm like, Emily, as you're watching this, like, does this feel like they're 13? Like, is this how you guys are? And she's like, yeah, pretty much.
Oh, wow.
And I was shocked. Yeah. I was absolutely shocked. I'm like, hey, good for them for getting it right.
And she was like, I mean, we do drugs now, but we talk the same.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Aside from the sex and the drugs, yeah. But I thought it was really funny that she said that, because I honestly, if you would have asked me, I would have thought they were acting like a little too young.
Little young.
But she didn't see that, so I thought that was kind of funny. So
good.
I'm sorry. One of the things the dad, because I wrote down a lot of these things, but one of the things the dad said to the mom, I'll do my job, you do yours. Right?
Yeah.
Come on.
So I did write quite the day for Mom. I wrote car problems, drapes guy, housekeeper, carpet cleaners, the neighbors, and
everybody showing up at the same time.
But then I wrote, and I don't understand this note, Christian. I wrote bored ? Does the husband say, oh, are you just bored? Are you bored at home or something? Does someone says to the mother, you're just bored or something? And I was like, is that like the
I
bored
wouldn't be surprised.
housewife?
I don't remember it off the top of my head, but I wouldn't be surprised.
The housekeeper was amazing. I will say there's a lot of great supporting characters in this.
Yes.
She has a line, I don't clean pig pens. I leave that for the mother of the pig.
Oh, yeah. It's so good. That's really, really
I
good.
loved Mom with the makeup on and then kissing the son goodbye, but as the daughter.
Yes.
Very cute. Very
so
funny.
I really, really enjoyed the mom.
Yeah.
I thought at first it was a little bit much, but I think they both were a little bit much at first.
Mm-hmm.
But I really thought it was well done.
Mm-hmm.
I believed that there was a 13-year-old child in there. I feel like if I was a 13-year-old child that turned into a mother, I would be doing the same stuff. Like, first thing she does is touch her boobs, which is really funny. I would definitely have done that. Putting the makeup on and just like eating what she wants and dancing around the house, having a party. She's excited. She's home alone.
Yeah.
Super, super cute. And I loved her acting. I thought she was really, really great.
Mm-hmm.
I did not enjoy the fact that she stuck gum to the wall and then ate it. That was disgusting. But aside from that, I thought it was really, really good. In fact, tell me if you think this is the same way. I got a couple of Madeline Kahn vibes from her.
Totally. Yep,
Did you get that too?
Yep, I can see that.
I'm like, ooh, she's good.
Yeah.
She's really good. And I think I was really, really surprised about that.
And I'm also going to say I liked the gum part.
You did.
That was funny. Just because it was like, I think just because, like, I kept thinking about her as in, thinking of her acting and being like, that's some real commitment to this. Like, because I just feel like Barbara Harris was not afraid to look goofy.
Not at all. She was
messy.
great.
And I think, I feel like, Jamie Lee Curtis got a lot of good reviews for the remake. And I think the same for this, it feels right. And you have to be a bit uninhibited to behave this way, because often it's just her on screen acting this way, and and it's like she's great in this.
She is really good. The problem I had with the gum was I didn't think a 13-year-old would do that.
But even Jodie Foster, because her room is so messy,
I don't think she would have taken gum out and stuck it on the wall.
Okay.
I just didn't believe it.
So
she maybe threw it on the floor under her bed or something. Like, she would have hit it.
I will say, through a middle-aged lens, Annabelle, do you kind of feel like, and I'm being serious, the things that transpired in Annabelle's day, I kind of think would ruin her scholastic experience.
Yeah.
Like, pretty badly. From the history class to the English paper to field hockey. And nowadays, if you friggin' blow the big game in a sports event, you have mental health issues later.
Yeah.
Now, if you bomb an English paper, if you don't do well in your subjects, if you get, and I know parents talk about this, they bomb one test, it could ruin their grade.
Yeah.
And I do feel like, and I know I'm being a little heavy-handed on this, but like, I think from a middle-aged lens, I was like, I think Annabelle going back to school as Annabelle is really going to have a hard time bouncing back from all the mistakes her mom made.
Yes. Yep.
And I never would have certainly never thought that as a kid.
Right.
But
No, you never think about what's going to happen the next day.
So many people are going to be disliking Annabelle when she steps foot back in that school.
Right.
I think it's hard to bounce back from.
Yeah, I think so too. I also thought it was a little bit strange that they didn't seek each other out, especially the mother in the daughter's body didn't head home to make sure the daughter was okay.
I had that same note.
Right?
Yep.
Like, I just feel like that was a little bit odd that they didn't even think to seek each other out.
Let's meet up and let's figure this out together.
Yeah.
I give you permission to leave school, or can I leave school? It's like I'm giving myself permission to leave school and to just go home. Maybe mom's there. I completely agree, because at least they would have been together. They would have been out of harm's way, and together they could have probably done all the housework stuff and figured school out later.
Yeah.
The mom could have just called the school.
In fact, how funny would it be is if they were both leaving to find each other, and then they showed up at the respective places as themselves in a different
but the other
body.
one's not there.
Right?
Yeah,
I just feel like that would have been a little bit more comedic opportunity.
I agree with that.
I liked the cute little, relationship that she had with the brother. Mm-hmm. The growth part of that. That was cute. I thought that was cute.
My next note is, actually I have a couple notes, but like I just wrote, is this the most vicious field hockey team ever filmed?
Gosh,
By the way, Jodie Foster did her own stunts.
Did she really?
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah. But I thought they were like, I mean, I guess I've never seen a field hockey game, but they seemed awfully aggressive.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen it either. It does seem a little aggressive.
I will say I liked the extra oomph that certain characters were given. Ms. Gibbons, the new secretary. Yeah. So Jodie Foster walks in as the mom.
Yeah.
And she meets the new secretary, the new secretary. Which is appropriate that I slipped on that because the new secretary has a low-cut dress, flowing 70s, what was Prell the big brand then? Prell hair, like, very, like, come hither. And then Jodie Foster walks in and she's like, basically like, stay away from my man.
Yeah.
Through Jodie Foster's voice and all that. And it was enough from Ms. Gibbons that the next few times you see her, she's wearing more and more clothing.
Yeah, I know. I
like
know.
That. It was
funny. Okay. Like, I thought it was funny the first time, but as she kept putting more and more on, I was like, I think I'm done with this little shtick. Because I'm not sure an adult would make so many changes for a child. So I was kind of thinking, like, really?
Unless they were that guilty.
Right. Well, putting the coat on, I think, would work. But then putting glasses on and putting the hair up.
I don't know. To me, this was such a farce anyway that I appreciated that. Similarly, the teacher, when I wrote, the teacher was hilarious, taking the blame for Annabelle's change in behavior. Mm-hmm. I thought that was like because that was very unexpected. You never see that like teacher suddenly doing that. I like the farce of it.
Yes. I was surprised to see Ruth Buzzy. Wasn't that funny to see her?
Yeah, and a total like throwaway role as like the opposing coach.
And she wasn't even Ruth Buzzy-ish.
No.
She was just like a normal, played it straight.
Now, I appreciated that. And also, was that Boss Hogg from The Dukes of Hazzard?
It was. Yeah. The principal was, Sorell Brooks.
Something like that. I think you're right.
Something like that. Yeah. Sorell something or other. Yes, that was Boss Hogg. I thought it was funny because I was looking at it, I'm like, who is that? One thing I thought was really funny, and I felt bad for Jodie Foster.
Uh-oh.
She had to walk around with that lacrosse stick all day. Did you notice that? Every scene she's in, she's carrying that goddamn thing. It reminded me of Escape to Witch Mountain when she was walking around with the purse.
Oh, the purse.
Remember she had that purse all the time? So funny.
Dick Van Patten shows up with a British accent.
Yes.
Where is the daughter? Not a great British accent, I have to say.
No, Dick, sorry.
But that was what? 1 year before 8 is Enough? Because 8 is Enough is 77? This is 76, 77, 78. Yeah. So, but I was surprised. I was like, oh, did he have to have a British accent? Yeah, I mean, you can go on. For me, it's like, my next note is about the stunt double work.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the car, like, all that
the
stuff.
Beetle, they're driving the Volkswagen Beetle, right?
And they got this big car chase.
And I wrote, again, the stunt double is at least 2 feet taller and looks nothing like Jodie Foster. Mm-hmm. I wrote, they're not even trying.
No, they're not. I kind of liked it. I didn't really love it when I was watching it, but after reflecting on it, I kind of liked how they had very similar situations happening throughout the day with each other. Mm-hmm. So, for example, the lacrosse game was happening at the same time as the baseball game, right? And then at the end, the car chase is happening at the same time as the water skiing.
Yep.
And I liked that kind of going back and forth, to like the chaos, the crazy, that kind of thing. I thought that was kind of fun.
Yep. You know what I loved? I loved it as a little kid, and I really loved it now. Is when the cop car splits in half.
Yeah, I forgot about that until I saw it again.
That. I remembered it when I was like,
so fun.
When it happened, I was like, oh my god, I used to love that scene.
Yeah, that was really cool. I've never seen it since.
No, I've never seen a movie do
like that since.
Yeah,
it's so cute.
Not even like Terminator 2, where they just slice everything in half.
Right.
So I have a note about the conclusion. I'm already in the conclusion.
Yeah,
we can slow down a little bit.
I don't really have a ton of extra notes anyway.
It's pretty light stuff.
A lot of stunts and things like that.
It's stunts and slapsticky and keeping the kids entertained. I think
fun.
I will say this though, the conclusion. I don't know if this is going to make sense. It feels so long. Like suddenly, there's a certain point in this movie where the action shtick feels really long.
It was very long.
And then the very end feels super rushed. And it's like, there's no real there's no shared understanding. I would have loved to watch a bigger conversation about their days.
Well, I think it speaks to their writing for children.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really think they were like, let's make all the car chase is going to be super long. They're going to go down the stairs. They're going to go around here. They're going to hit this one. And I really think that that's where they put in all their efforts, because they wanted these children to be entertained. Same with the water skiing. She's going to go up in the air. She's going to land here, and she's going to go around here. And I really think that that's what it was. I think in today's day and age, now I did not see the Jamie Lee Curtis one. Mm-hmm. Was there more of a conversation afterwards? Were there more?
I know, I saw that a long time ago too.
Know?
I remember really liking it. Yeah. That's for sure. I really liked that movie, and I
wonder if there was any learning.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there wasn't a whole lot of learning involved in this one.
Yeah.
There wasn't a big spoken lesson.
No, that's what I mean. And I feel like for a kids movie, I found myself as an adult wanting that for kids. Because here's why. The mom's day was so messed up because of so many appointments and the dishwasher or the clothes washing machine and all that you might think her day's only busy because she's doing it wrong. Mm-hmm. Where no, her day's busy because she's busy. Right. And I kind of wish there was more balance. Like if I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I did as a kid.
Well, because of the middle-aged lens.
Just absolutely. And I just wish there was more understanding. I wish there was a little more conversation.
Yeah, I think a lot was unspoken. I think they did it that way because, and thinking of as a someone from the 70s, right? If you're thinking about their point of view. Well, every day is like this, but it goes smoothly because that's her job.
Right.
Right?
Right.
That's it. There's no one's feeling like it's unfair.
Yeah.
It's just this is her job.
Yeah.
And it was chaos because somebody else was trying to do her job.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what they're thinking.
Did Emily watch the whole thing with you?
She watched most of it, but she didn't. No, she left.
She didn't want to try it. If you guys both said it at the same time, just to see what would happen.
I don't think she'd want to try it.
What do you think would be what part of your day would Emily like the least?
Being with the kids. She doesn't.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
She doesn't really love kids.
Yeah. And what do you think would be the roughest part of Emily's day?
Oh, God, I don't know. I don't know. I might like her day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, being told what to do, and that might not be fun, but I remember just being in school and being told you can't go to the bathroom, right?
Yeah.
I would have to, no, I need to go to the bathroom, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Or even just I don't know, having just a short period of time to eat lunch. Stuff like that I think would irk me. Not necessarily the classes. I think the classes would be fine.
Yeah.
Seeing the kids and having the friends and stuff. I think that would be fine. Oh, and we should mention Patreon.
My God, yeah.
So you guys, we're doing something brand new. This is the first time we've done this. We are going to we're each going to write a fictional short story. Mm-hmm. It's just a few paragraphs. It's not going to be that.
Yeah.
About the day that Brian and I switched bodies. So Brian's going to write about his day.
Yes, as Christina.
As in my world.
Yeah.
And I'm going to write about my day in his world.
Amazing. So,
we'll post it on Patreon. It's patreon.com/oldroommates. So you'll have to let us know what you think. And, I'm excited to switch bodies with you, Brian.
So believe it or not, I have a match game, but that's all my notes. I have some trivia. But do you have any notes?
My last note is something that the husband screamed in the air. Do you remember this? When she's up in she's water skiing. She's actually not water skiing anymore. She's hand gliding. Yeah. Right? Because this is what you do in school, I guess, these days, right? That was one note. I'm like, really? There's a water skiing club? I want to go to that school. So anyway, she's up in the air, and the husband looks up in the sky. He goes, "She's up in the air. She's on a kite. She's so young.
What?
Yeah. She's so young.
I didn't like the dad.
No, he was
sorry.
It was not a good
Character.
representation.
Nope.
I didn't like him, and I didn't like that they didn't recognize what a jerk he was.
That was my very first note. Just when it ended, that's the first thing I wrote. I'm like, wait, no one's calling Dad out for his behavior, and that he needs to work on himself too, because that. I can't get into it.
I know.
It's just a sign of the times.
It was absolutely a sign of the times. It was just men called women up and said, "I'm bringing home my office.
Oh my God.
Have dinner
Start
ready for
cooking dinner."
7.
Yeah.
You know, I think that was just the sign of the times.
I will say this movie was a big hit. So it was made for $5 million. It made $36 million on a $5 million budget. Golden Globe nominations. They both got nominated for Best Actress.
Good for them.
And as well as Best Song, which is a song at the beginning.
Oh, I did not like that song.
Me neither.
I did not like that song.
I didn't like it at all.
You know what it reminded me of is remember Free to Be You and Me?
Yes.
Didn't
Christina.
It remind you? You just jumped out of your chair.
1,000%. I didn't like the song at all, and it did remind me of that.
Yep.
Yeah, so I just wrote it like a little less. I said it's, I said slightly less. I said it's mostly, at a certain point, it's mostly just wacky hijinks with great performances. That's exactly
what it is. Yeah, that is exactly what it is.
One minor note that I have is that I forgot to say earlier. Towards, I think around towards the end more than anything, the mom, as much as I love that performance, she has some mannerisms that I don't think the kid would have done, like holding people's faces.
Oh, and sure.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was, I would appreciate Jodie Foster's voice being like, what does mom usually do? I'll hold their face. That will calm them down.
Nice.
Just because it didn't seem to ring true.
That would actually have been great if. See, that, again, it would be like learning experience, right?
Yeah.
So 3/4 of the way, what would mom do? And even she would say, well, what would my daughter do? How would she
get it wrong. And they would still get it wrong.
And they'd still get it wrong. Or it would be exaggerated or something. And it would be funny.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious to watch the Jamie Lee Curtis, Lindsay Lohan one now. I think that would be kind of interesting.
And that's from the 90s, I think.
I want to say 90s, probably.
Maybe next year we'll do that.
Oh, yeah.
So, ready for my match game?
I am.
Do you have a question too, or?
I do. I have a match game question too. So
all right. So here's the match game.
Okay.
Well, finally, Annabelle's dad finally realized that she might be in his wife's body. Mm. Well, the other night, he said, let's be naughty in the bedroom tonight.
Ew.
I know. And she walked in with blank.
Let's be naughty.
He didn't know it was his daughter that he was talking to until this happened. Let's be naughty in the bedroom tonight.
Okay.
And she walked in with blank.
I know exactly what it is.
Oh my God.
All right. Ding.
Ding. Christina, let's be naughty in the bedroom tonight. And Annabelle walked in with...
cookies.
Oh.
Because I got to eat cookies in bed.
So good. Yeah, eating in bed is bad. Cookie crumbs and all that.
Everyone knows you're not supposed to eat cookies in bed.
That's enough, Christina.
Everybody knows this, Brian.
I put matches.
Oh, God! You definitely don't want to bring matches to bed. Although, were they smoking in that one?
Well, no. I just mean lighting fire, lighting matches. Don't play with matches. It's naughty.
I get it. Okay.
What's your question?
So my question is, believe it or not, later that week,
okay,
Jodie Foster switched places with her dad.
Oh my God!
I know, right?
What a tough week.
She was kind of excited. The first thing she did was blank.
Oh God.
I don't even have an answer.
I do. I kind of like my answer. I love that you thought of the question you don't have an answer.
I know, I really don't have an answer.
That doesn't usually happen.
It doesn't. I usually have something planned. Alright, this doesn't make any sense.
Alright.
I wish I had given it more thought. Okay. It doesn't make any sense.
Ding. 10 minutes ago.
Ding. I know, sir. Seriously. So, Annabelle switched places with her father.
Yes.
And the first thing she did was...
spend all his money.
Ooh, not bad. I said ate a hot fudge sundae. I know, it doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense at all. I get it. I know. I almost said give her an allowance, but...
Christina,
that would have been a match.
Let me tell you something really quick. For any dedicated listeners that listen to our Neverending Story episode, which, by the way, charted high in the States.
No way!
We usually chart in Denmark. Which
is so funny. You would think it would have been Germany or something.
True. And, we really charted high. It was nice to see. Now, here's the thing. Your answer to the Matchkin question, do you remember? You asked a question like, what would the name be? And you said... Princess Poopy Head.
Oh, yes.
Which no one would have ever guessed in a million years. So ever since that happened, I feel that you are a little bit of a loose cannon. There, I said it.
I am so sorry that I am creative in my answers.
Oh, my God. But it's called match game, not creative game.
I think a lot of people, as children, call people Poopy Head as a joke.
Thank you for joining us. Yay, Freaky Friday. And check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/oldroommates. We love you.
We love you.
And that's it for us in this episode of Old Roommates. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, YouTube, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And please give us a rating or review while you're there.
And if you're interested in more Old Roommates, including special episodes, bonus content, movie recommendations, and more, visit our Patreon page at patreon.com. That's patreon.com/oldroommates. Comments and ideas can be emailed to us at oldroommatespod@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Old Roommates.
Thanks again for listening. This is Christina.
And this is Brian. Until next time.